I see you. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Oh, really? I'm sure she won't mind me coming.
Like, I am paying $5 extra.
Come on, let's put your mat, dude. Come here, let's put your mat.
I don't know, but the roughly.
Huh?
That's a roughly boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it's looking, but as of right now, I think we're going to be okay.
They're saying it's been in the evening.
Yeah. I'm struggling to get this done, dude. You are crazy. Hey, handsome, I love you. Hey, baby. Okay, we are back. It's currently in the evening, and I didn't even do a proper introduction to this video. It's Monday, January 20th. It's been a cool day. Aza's been here. She's back there watching Red Dead Redemption play on the TV over there. Zoe's right here too. Preston's already in bed. It's actually about 9:30 p.m. right now. I didn't really have much to vlog today, so I'm going to finish this off with a review of the movie that we watched on Friday, which was Wolfman, which was a great movie. It's a horror movie. I genuinely think it was fine. A lot of people disagree. I think people were expecting maybe more of a horror film, and I do agree. It wasn't very scary, but it was good. I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed the modernization. The modernization, is that the word? Modernization of the story, of the character, the Wolfman. Similar to what they did with The Invisible Man, which, by the way, is just an amazing movie. That movie was great. So good, one of my favorites. But similar to what they did with The Invisible Man, they modernized this one, where The Invisible Man, it wasn't like an experiment gone wrong. It wasn't anything supernatural. It was a man who was smart enough to create a suit that would make him invisible with cameras and reflectors. And the cat is scratching. This cat here, she's scratching me. Ow. It wasn't, the Wolfman was not supernatural. He wasn't a being that he looked at the moon and transformed. And if I do any reviews, they're gonna just be spoilers, because I don't like spoiler-free reviews. I want to know what's happening. If I watch a review of a movie, I want to know why they thought it was good. So in the beginning of the movie, they just lay it out for you, is that there is a disease. It's got a long name, but the locals who know about that disease, they basically call it the wolf face or something like that. So what they do is, in order to modernize this, they took away the supernatural, I guess, storyline of Wolfman, and instead made it a disease-driven situation. Whereas if you get infected with this disease, you start becoming something else, the Wolfman. So the movie revolves around Blake, the dad, Ginger, the daughter, and the wife, Charlotte. Blake is a stay-at-home dad at this point. He's between jobs. Charlotte is I believe she's a writer, and she's just stressed out. She works hard. And then you have the daughter, Ginger, who is supposed to be the centerpiece of this story. And I'm not gonna go into depth and tell you the whole story of the movie, but I will say that the gore was good. The transformation of the wolf was fine. One thing I really liked when they showed the perspective of the wolf itself, it would pan from what we see as human beings, right, to what the Wolfman is seeing. And in that transition of him becoming human to the Wolfman, you start to see the process of what happens. You start hearing what he hears, which is distorted sounds. There's a scene in the movie where he's listening to his wife talk, and we can hear his wife speaking normal, but it shifts into the perspective of his name is Blake, and we shift to Blake's perspective, where he's starting to transform, and her words are just distorted. So you can see how not only is it affecting him physically, but it's affecting him, and it's affecting his whole body, his mind, everything. He's becoming a completely different person. Now, Blake and his wife and kid, they actually live in the city. They live in San Francisco, which coincidentally enough is the same city where The Invisible Man took place, San Francisco. So I'm curious to know if these are part of the same universe. I get that it could just be a coincidence, but the initial plan was for these movies to all be linked together. Create its own monsterverse is what Universal was calling it. I kind of hope it is. I'm leaning towards that it's all in the same universe, but we'll see. We don't know for sure. So Blake, as a boy, grew up scared of his father. His father was pretty strict and pretty mean to him. His father was just very protective. He understood what was in the woods out there in Oregon because there was already a Wolfman out there, and he was trying to teach his son how to protect himself. But in the process of it, he made Blake grow up not wanting to be like his dad, which ironically enough, by the end of the movie, he becomes what he did not want to become, which is crazy. As soon as Blake's able to move out, he moves out, which I'm guessing he turns 18 and leaves. 30 years later, after we see him as a kid, we fast forward to where we meet him and his family, and he gets a letter in the mail basically saying that his dad died. Keys to the old house that belonged to the dad. So he suggests to his wife that they should take a trip to Oregon where his dad lived, and they should just go clear out some stuff, maybe check his belongings, maybe take even a little vacation out there. This area where his dad lived was just very rural, like woods. Like your neighbor is probably not gonna be for the next 10 miles. Like it's very isolated where they lived. A lot of forest. And the cinematography, by the way, was amazing. They did such a good job that whenever they would pan into the forest, you're always questioning, like, is there something there? You don't know. It's similar to what they did with The Invisible Man. They did the camera work so well that they would just slow pan and they leave it to your imagination to think, is he actually there? Is he not there? We don't know. I will say though, by the end of the movie, you're left with wanting more, because there was no real big climax in this movie where shit hits the fan and now we need to figure things out. Like there's no, that doesn't really happen. And I think it's because it's a slow burn of a movie. Everything happens in a decent pace as the transformations happen, as the family's trying to escape. There's no real like turning point to where you think everything's okay and then all of a sudden it's not okay. It just kind of keeps going. I don't think that ruins the movie. I think it's still fine. If you're gonna watch The Wolfman, check it out. Not a horror film, but hi, you okay? But I think it's worth watching, especially if you're trying to keep up with maybe this monsterverse they are going to create, which I think would be amazing. Man, that was a really bad review. I'm sorry. I will try to get better. What I'll do is I'll outline the next one. I like talking about movies, and I know I can do a better job. It's just last minute, and I'm just kind of going with it, which is not the proper way to do a review. You have to structure it. There's a lot of things I'm leaving out that I know I should be talking about. I liked it. I can't complain. It's a good movie. Okay, I gotta go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. That's right, baby.